All right, Kevin, let me know when to go.
You are recording.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KubeStellar community meeting. Today is Thursday, March 19th, 2026. Welcome, everybody. And we are now in the third month of the year. Time is flying. All right, let's get started. So, you're already on the meeting. If not, if you're watching this online, you can join our meeting at any time. You can go to agenda.kubestellar.io. That is where we keep our this particular file. But before you can write anything on it or do anything with it or edit it or modify it, you need to go get an invite from Google. We are part of this is controlled, access to this is controlled by a Google group. And the way you get access to that is going to kubestellar.io/join_us. You can do one word or separated by an underscore. Either way works fine. Once you get there, smash the button that says join this group. Then you'll instantly have access to this that you can edit and do anything you'd like with any of our other artifacts. This meeting and others are located on our YouTube channel. Go to kubestellar.io/TV. And the agenda, of course, is located at kubestellar.io/agenda. So if you have any topics you'd like to discuss, add them to the bottom of the list of the meeting that's in context for today. And you're welcome to discuss anything you like there that has to do with the community or the way that we work. We are proud members of the CNCF Sandbox project, and so as a result, we abide by contributor code of conduct. And I read it here. As contributors and maintainers in the CNCF community and in interest of fostering an open and welcoming community, we pledge to respect all people who contribute through reporting issues, posting feature requests, updating documentation, submitting pull requests or patches, and other activities. We are committed to making participation in the CNCF community a harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of level of experience, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, personal appearance, body size, ethnicity, race, age, religion, or nationality. And what I like to always say is a nice way of saying, be nice to each other. Okay, so here's our meeting agenda so far. If you would like to add your name to the attendee list, we'd love to hear from you there. Some have already done that. Thank you. Okay, so let's get on with things. First off, current events, things that we're going to be attending and doing in the community. We have a CNCF Slack organization channel called KubeStellar-Dev. You have to get an invitation from the Cloud Native CNCF organization in Slack. You could do so by clicking that link right here. And once you do so, then you'll have access to this link, which is our channel. We are going to be at KubeCon EU next week. I'll be leaving here on Friday, tomorrow, actually. We have an accepted talk by Paolo Braulio, and that will be on multi-tenancy using one of our projects in the KubeStellar stable called KubeFlex, and a couple others from the CNCF, K3S, OVN, and so forth. So it'd be interesting to see how their talk goes. Please join us there. Braulio, if you're on, or Paolo, if you're on, if you want to add time and date there for your talk, that'd be great. Or Kevin, if you have access to Sched, sched.com, and can add the date information and time information for that, I'd appreciate it. All right, I'll be in the partner pavilion on Wednesday afternoon, local time, 1400 to 1700. And I have a lightning talk on Monday. It's at noon. Sometimes it shifts around, so come check us at noon. I'll be showing off the latest flagship product from KubeStellar called KubeStellar Console. And on our interns for open source update or IFOS update, um, we have been working with two paid mentees as part of the project. We have a total, I think, of about 9 or 10 mentees that are working with us, though, in an unpaid capacity and paid capacity. And they are focusing on user adoption focused programs. Some are looking at documentation and self-service, and others are looking at integration. And essentially, what they're doing for the most part is working on testing the KubeStellar console right now and opening bugs against it, issues that our AI agents are then consuming and creating PRs and fixes for. So they are mostly in a test capacity. This week they were given access to the affiliate program for KubeStellar, which allows them to post videos, blogs, to talk about the console and be rewarded for doing so. So they're starting to experiment with that. And we're looking for adopters for the KubeStellar console. We've gotten one so far this week. The folks from Open Cluster Manager, OCM, were so kind as to add themselves to the adopters list. That was great to have them there. If any of you out there are using the console and on behalf of an organization or an open source project and could help us out, we'd appreciate you just PRing a simple one-line change to our adopters.md file in the KubeStellar console repository. We also continue working with the Cornell SDF program on enclave and confidential computing. And in Georgia Tech, we'll be working with, hopefully this summer. We haven't signed up for the program yet, but it's not yet open to be signed up for. So we've had some good success with working with the folks at Georgia Tech. They've been helping us lead our research as to where to work and how to help operators and developers of all kinds and natures using Kubernetes platforms. So that's us in the community. Any comments or questions so far? All right. So just keep aware. There's probably, I don't know when it opens, but I'm sure that, you know, the call for proposals, the CFPs for other KubeCons around the world, including India and North America, will be coming out soon. There is a CNCF, there's a LFX summit that's taking place. It'll be in Minneapolis. I won't be attending that this year. But if anybody would like to go and represent KubeStellar and KubeStellar console, that invitation's open. Come, DM me if you'd like to talk more about that. All right. My handle on the CNCF Slack is Club Anderson. So just hit me up if you're interested in representing KubeStellar at any of the conferences that are upcoming for Linux Foundation, for CNCF, or any other open source related conferences. All right, with that, I think Mike's on the call. And Mike, you want to take us through anything that's going on with KubeStellar Legacy? And then we can move on to talk more about docs and website with Kevin.
Yeah, the focus is, as mentioned, on the upgrade to Kubernetes 1.32. We have someone working on it. There was progress this week. I made comments. It's in review. So that's the main thing going on.
Great. Thank you, Mike. All right. Do we have any more information on the vulnerability in the core Helm chart?
Nothing new.
Okay. All right. Docs and website. Kevin, you want to give us any updates? You want to show anything? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, since you're already sharing, if you want to go to KubeStellar.io, we can show it off.
First of all, I didn't know about that site. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. So first of all, I'm very glad to say that what's in the agenda for today's meeting is completely out of date. So the website landing has been updated to emphasize KubeStellar console. If you scroll down a little bit into the what is section, you will see there is mention of our legacy solutions below all of that, but right there. And the docs are not gone for the legacy components, but they are de-emphasized. If we then go to docs, if you enter docs there is a landing page for docs which explains the structure of the menu. There are, I will say right now while we're looking at this, there are a couple of style PRs on the docs menu that I'm looking at, but they are probably not going to be approved because they are patching the code. They are slapping more stuff on top of the code than solving the actual problem. If you are opening a docs PR on the structure or the navigation, Copilot will do a review and offer suggestions, and they are almost always correct on a better way to do what you have tried to do if you're changing styling. So this is really important with this complicated Nextra framework, that we don't just slap extra styling tags in there, that we look at why the styling isn't working. Especially with multiple.
Kevin, I'll very much agree with your point, although I will add, this is exceptionally good performance for Copilot. In our experience with a variety of agents, Copilot is not the best.
Yes, I generally then use Claude to look at the Copilot review comments and see if they're actually coherent with the actual code. And the combination I have found very effective. I am looking at the PRs. I have not caught up because I've been working on a demo project for console. But the most important thing is this navigation now works over there on the left. The top two active components that we're focusing on are console and KubeStellar MCP. But all of the docs for the standalone repository components, KubeStellar 8A and all of that, are still there. And below that is the general purpose areas for contribution and community. And even the graphics are working there. So
yeah. So I wanted to back on to what Mike said. Yes, you can have very poor performance from Copilot. In our repository, we've restricted Copilot to only use the latest models from Gemini, OpenAI, and Claude, Anthropic. So we typically get a little better performance. However, we do get, rate limited at times. So because we have restricted that a little bit. I also wanted to add that I created this week, somebody found a bug where this was showing up as all zeros. And so I was able to find a cool little widget that doesn't require us to have any kind of GitHub token, and will dynamically update these over time. So that's pretty cool. What else you got,
now,
Kevin?
I haven't recently tested the edit functions, but you can see there on any particular page, if there's an error in the content, you can directly open an issue for it. So if it's the content that needs to be fixed, that's much simpler structure, because we have about 4 layers of code that actually create all the structure. Restyling the navigation or something like that is a more complicated process. And I would look at those PRs very carefully before I prove them.
Good deal. Okay. All right. Let me go back to the community. All right. So we reached the point in the program. We've got about 15 minutes left. We can field questions on, on anything in general, but we can also give a little more information about KubeStellar console in preparation for next week's event. Just wanted to show that we've added quite a few things here this week, specifically in the area of local clusters. So we have local clusters, Kind K3D Minikube. You can create a cluster from directly inside of the console on your local system, provided you're running this on your local host or with a KC agent with the KubeStellar console agents connected. It also have the ability, when you have that agent connected, to discover, use, create, and manage vClusters. This is new functionality. This just came out yesterday. So just something to be aware of. Also, if you're running in, if you didn't know this already, if you choose to run this in demo mode, you can't even see it on here because we're not running this. If you choose to run this in demo mode, your updates, right now, your updates are limited to stable and unstable. If you run it in demo mode, you will also get, developer mode. If you run it in developer mode, you also then you will chase our main branch in our KubeStellar console repo as new commits come in. You will be updated here and be asked if you'd like to update. So you can update in line inside the console, and it will update, refresh the back end, the front end, runs a watchdog process so that this way you don't feel that if you click around somewhere, it doesn't go into a 404 state of some sort. This will also work in cluster. Also was able to get this working with our Helm chart. So as it gets repackaged, and new versions of it are available from the main branch, you can update this if you're running KubeStellar console inside of a cluster. So it's just some things to be aware of. We've also added something called multi-tenancy, a dashboard this backs up the work that Bravio and Paolo are working on with KubeFlex. This is what will be shown next week at KubeCon as part of their demonstration and their presentation. And this shows the architecture of what multi-tenancy would look like using KubeFlex, OVN, K3S. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. Let's see, OVN, KubeFlex, K3S, and KubeVert. We've also added, Mike, I think you were interested in this. We've also added cards, modal dialogues for drill downs into each of the specific vendors. So that's also been added as well. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we've added here during the week. Yeah, that's just about it. Um, yeah, more to come. Anybody with any questions about console today?
Well, I have some questions. If no one else does.
Please do.
Um, yeah, so I'm trying to figure out a few things. Um, is console just a UI, or is it something that can be used as programmatically as part of a bigger system?
Mhm. Yeah, so that's a good question, Mike. So KubeStellar console right now is you can think of it as a control plane as a website or a website as a control plane. So it doesn't rely on having boots on the ground necessarily inside a inside a cluster because it is a multi-cluster solution, right? So it sees over all clusters. Now, having said that, there's also the opportunity. I did leave it in here, but it's not something that I've exercised yet. But you have the opportunity inside backup and sync demo mode. I'm looking for. You have the opportunity to back up the code with CR's. Where is it? There it is. Deploy persistence. So in the deploy, so what this was is KS, the legacy. So in the, being able to back this up with things like, let's move this down. So you could certainly get a dynamic set of workloads. This pulls from your existing cluster mix. And so this is all deployments that you have running out there on any one of those given clusters that you manage. But these cluster groups here, these are things that you define. And so defining a cluster group has it may go away if it's not backed up. In other words, this is in local storage right now on the web browser. So if you would like to, and also once you deploy something to a remote location, keeping the status of that and what it's and if the deployment is still active and running, this is also can be lost if, let's say, you clean your cache or something that's in your browser. So what I did was I built in the settings, you're able to persist deployment. And so what this does is when you turn this on, it will go ahead and put out there all of the different uh, the CRs and CRDs that are necessary to support it in a
Um,
namespace called console.
so are you talking about using the CR, the custom resource is defined in KubeStellar, the binding policies and bindings and so on, or
No, we don't.
general CRDs?
Yeah, so
custom
this is,
resources.
there's three of them that we have. We have managed workloads, we have cluster groups, and we have workload deployments. And so
Okay, so this is particular ones from OCM.
these, I don't believe cluster groups is it?
Well, who defines it?
We defined it.
Okay. There is a similar concept in OCM.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
We don't rely on OCM though.
All right.
Could it be done in the future? I mean, it's software, so the possibility exists.
All right. This gets me to another question that I'm still working on understanding is what exactly is this console? Kevin's work in particular made me suspect what it really is a general purpose UI builder and assembler. As far as I can tell, Kevin built a couple of cards that talk to a Flask server that he recently built. It happens to be running in a pod in a Kubernetes cluster, but the important all that's almost an irrelevant detail. The work involved was getting a card that talks to a Flask server.
Yep. Yep. So what we have also inside the console, for those of you that are getting deeper into how the console works and operates, we have something called a card factory and a stat factory. So the things that you see above inside of the console, these in yellow here because they're running in demo mode, these are what we call cards. These across the left-hand side are called dashboards, and these across the top are what we call stat blocks. And so if you would like to, when you add a card in the console, you can create a custom card. And in doing so, this is something that Kevin attempted to do, and there was some limitations, but we can certainly fix those. And so as you can build your own card, and you'll get a preview as you do it. So you can build this. You can also get the help of your KC agent, your KubeStellar console agent, to reference your CLI to also help you do the same. So I can say I want a card that manages Mike's sprinkler system, right? And then it'll go off and attempt to create that for you. I'm in demo mode, so it's not going to reach out to my agent.
And my point is that you can make a card for anything. It doesn't
That's
have to
correct.
involve my KC agent. It's anything that's accessible
That's correct.
in any way.
Right. So I could turn this entire console into something that's not looking necessarily at um, that's not looking necessarily at a Kubernetes API endpoint. I guess that's the best way to put it. So you could, if you have other services that are not, let's say, cloud native, I guess if we want to say they're not containerized, they're things that aren't running
But
on
if
clusters. Yeah, you can incorporate them. Yep.
so, I could make this operate. Yeah, anything in the cloud, anything on the web, anything on the network. I could make
That's
my own
correct.
card that operates my own home automation system, and if I run it in my home, even it can operate something that nobody else even has access to.
You got it. You got
Thank you.
it. So some things that we actually went ahead and did this week, I got the help of Kevin here, is there's these cards, Mike, these three mushroom things here. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you, Kevin? Do you think it would be possible for us to make the entire card clickable rather than just to learn more? Because the only way that I can click on this is if I click on learn more.
I will look.
Just consider it, okay? All right. So, Mike, what we did, we came up with three cards here that show the power of console as it relates to other consoles that are out there, right? So one is used to be an open source project called Lens. I don't know if you were familiar with it, Mike.
No, go on.
Okay. So Lens was a fantastic console and it worked really well. But they went the same way that HashiCorp went and they decided to go private. And so as a result, they now charge their customers for for their use of Lens. It's some odd number. I don't know if it's per year, per whatever. But people were looking for an alternative to Lens because once it went away, they didn't want to pay for it. And so some people decided to either build their own. There was a version of Lens, it was called Free Lens, which people, it was a fork of the code, which sounds familiar, right? This is what OpenTofu is to one of HashiCorp's, I think, Vault. So they made a free lens, but the original lens is where everybody, wanted to use it. This particular page gets a lot of traction. We get about 10 to 15 hits a day on this. There's a lot of people looking at for alternatives to it. And this is the comparison chart that's available. And this is how to get started with console if you would like to do so to compare it against lens. Same thing is true for Headlamp. Headlamp is a CNCF project. They're also uh, a great front end for managing Kubernetes. But again, it's got things that we have things that it does not currently have. Um, and so yeah, so there's that comparison chart. And then I also this week put together white labeling. So Mike, you can take our project called KubeStellar Console and you can white label it. I can call this Kevin's console. And all you have to do in order to do that is change the Helm parameters that you install it with. You can even mount your own custom logos inside of I guess it's inside, yeah, it's inside of a config map. And then there's all the branding references. This is all the things you can change in the console. So you could make this Mike's console and brand it as such, all your coloring and theming and all that other good stuff.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we got 1 minute left. Anybody else with any other questions? Thanks, Mike. They were great. All right, folks. So listen, we're always looking for new feature functionality that we should add. If you find anything in the cluster that either A, does not work, or B, falls short of your expectations, or C, you would like to see because you think it's possible, open an issue in our project. The project is fully maintained by both Copilot and vis-a-vis Claude and Claude Opus 4.5 and 4.6. We do not encourage any of our contributors to do PRs by hand or manually. It takes quite a few turns to get things right, and in the process of doing so, typically what happens, you get very close to completion, and then something else comes up in a review that causes you to have more turns. So we really encourage you to use issues. Open an issue; it'll be worked on in a matter of anywhere from 30 minutes to a couple hours. You'll have either the feature or the bug that you've reported fixed, or the feature that you've requested will be fulfilled. And so it's very simple to get something added. Just open an issue in KubeStellar console. All right, thanks everybody for joining today. We'll see you again in another 2 weeks. I'll be freshly back from KubeCon, and I'll give you a report on all the people and things that I've seen. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.